There we go. I finally got the mics back on.
Oh yeah.
So, welcome everybody to Couch for It. We're going to cover something, probably. Who knows? We might just sit here and talk all night because that's what we do.
That's what we do. We when Drew stops being Drew, we just talk for hours.
We
That's
do.
what we do.
Anyway, I
I
am.
think we're reviewing episode 5.
Probably. But for the intro, I am Drew Tillman. There's a camera looking at me, so that's who I am. And I am joined, as always, by.
I'm Valanda.
And yes, we are going to cover episode 5 of Sabrina, The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I almost called it The Teenage Witch.
You had it last week. You nailed it last week. It was
I
beautiful.
recovered this week, it's fine.
You did it. It's okay. It's a minor fumble. I mean, these things happen, right? It's all good. It's all chill.
Exactly.
It's all chill. We're fine
It's
here.
like running down the pitch and dropping a sports
The ball.
ball.
Okay, yeah, we don't do sports
I know
metaphors.
nothing about sports.
No, we don't. I think that's all. Yeah. So I'm gonna be an asshole. So, what's your first impressions of episode 5?
That's fine. You can ask me. I don't mind. My first impressions of episode 5 were this feels kind of like a waste.
How do you mean?
I felt like nothing really got resolved in this episode. With one notable exception, and honestly, not worth this entire episode to get that resolution. How about you?
I actually really liked this episode. I didn't like. Granted, it didn't resolve anything. It didn't really, in my opinion, push any plot forward. But it was super clever.
Okay. Yes, let me backtrack. I enjoyed the episode, but it's weird given that the way Netflix structures a lot of people who write for Netflix, it tends to be 1 to 4 episodes of build up and then everything starts to resolve. But this was just like a weird like holding pattern episode.
Yeah, and they've had this for like 3 episodes in a row now.
Yeah, it was kind of it was. I enjoyed it a lot the first time I watched it, and then when I went back and watched it for notes, I enjoyed it slightly less, but no more than I would not enjoy something that I had watched twice in a row.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked it as a. I think the thing is we're now getting used to watching Netflix as a binge in like one sitting, so we expect like the story arc to like follow a story arc, and that's basically a 10-hour movie. But this is really very much like a Monster of the Week feel to
It
Sabrina.
is. It's kind of odd. It's not bad. It's not boring at all. I have a couple things I want to knock it for, but that's because
Oh, there are some big knocks, some big ass hammers, and big ass nails coming its way.
we'll get to those though.
I just thought it was clever as a standalone episode. I think if we stop thinking about it as a series, I think we're fine.
Yeah, no, it's not bad. It just feels kind of weird because it's like build up, build up, build up, build up. Anyway, we're gonna take a minute and just hang out
Just
right
take a
here.
minute, sit right there. Yeah.
Yeah, this episode kind of feels like. Now, I haven't seen the Christmas episode yet, but it kind of feels like that in that they could have had this episode unrelated to the rest of the series, and it would have been fine.
Yeah, yeah. They could have picked this one up and got rid of it. To be fair, they probably could have done the same with episode 4.
That's also true.
If they picked these two up, then you wouldn't be like, oh, there's going to be a monster in the next episode. No, if they just picked this up and like got rid of it, like you wouldn't have known any difference at all.
Just whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
Yeah, so
we
you
should
want to dive in?
probably start, huh? Drew, you're going to be so proud of me.
Do you have notes?
I do.
Yes!
Not only does it cover half an episode, it covers both halves of the episode.
So the beginning and the end?
Yes, indeed. And shock horror even contains notes for the middle.
Yes!
I genuinely remember to sit down with a thing and not be eating my breakfast or my dinner or my last meal. Oh shit, we've got 10 minutes before we start thing. No, I generally sat down and wrote some notes this time because I remember this being intricate, I guess.
Yeah, there's some.
When I watched it first time around, so I thought I'd better write some real notes.
All right, well then, since you have notes, would you like to start this discussion?
All right, Drew. So I said they were good notes.
I have notes every week. Come on, Villan.
Okay. So the opening of this week starts in the sister's bedroom. Aunt Hilda is reading a book and it's making her laugh a lot. I want to hope it's a Mills and Boon trash novel for witches.
Oh, no, it's definitely a mortal romance novel. Like, you see the cover, it is definitely some Fabio hand painted big muscle man saves a damsel and
Of
has
course, like
some
he's gonna be riding a horse bareback with like a shirt that's like really deep V down to the belly button,
100%. It's gonna have real
hair
weird
flowing.
terms for anything sexual because
Yes,
it's not about
yes,
sex.
magic boxes and everything.
Oh, but yeah, she's not only she's laughing, she's like squealing and like
Yeah,
doing this like snort laugh and like twisting her feet around, and it's like you're way too old to do that, but it's adorable.
it is kind of cool. So yeah, they're doing that, and basically, like Zelda just starts ragging on her from the second that this kind of like episode really opens up. And she's like, she just basically knocks her down, like, "Why are you reading that trash? Go read the Dark Lord's book," which which is like this battered old dark book with a pentagram on it and an eye in the middle of it, and it's super cheesy.
Yeah, read Satan's Bible. Stop reading romance novels.
Yeah. And then Hilda's like, maybe I want to do that. Now I have free time. I was thinking about getting a job at the bookstore, the creepy one that we mentioned before, the one with the crazy vampire dress up guy and very cool menus. And Artsy's like, why are you getting a job?
No, she shits on the guy who works there. Cause like, with that lunatic who dresses like a vampire.
Yes.
I want this guy to be an actual vampire so badly.
There's a bit of me that really does too. I don't know because I have only got to episode 8. I know you know more, but there's a bit of me that kind of does want that to be
I
true.
want it to be true because I want everyone to like make fun of him because he dresses like a vampire, and then he is a vampire.
It's like, seriously, you're leaning into the cheese? What? Is like, why not?
Why not? Whatever.
Why would I not play into this? Like, yeah, why would you? And then, from the end of the previous episode, we know that Sabrina releases something from the
Akron configuration.
yes, the magic box.
Yes.
Because I don't remember what it's really called.
It's called the
And
Akron
every time anyone
configuration.
says it, I just get really confused.
It's the Akron device.
Yeah, that thing. The thing her dad made and trapped a demon inside.
Yeah, it's a weird puzzle box.
Yeah, she kind of like screams and runs into the room as you would expect. And then like the sisters get off the bed, and I have to make the point, like, as soon as like everything was going okay, like we have the normal like sisterly relationship they seem to have, and Sabrina coming in screaming, and then what really threw me off at this particular moment was when they got off the bed. Did you see how high those fucking beds were?
They are so tall, and I kind of want to know: is that like a witch thing? Is that just like a spinster thing? Like what? What's the thought?
Don't know. Because Ambrose basically sleeps on the floor.
This is true.
Sabrina sleeps, I think, in a normal bed, and their beds are like up to their chest, dude. Like they've got to have boxes to get into this bed.
Beds are so tall. Hi, undead man.
And well, they cannot be practical. Like they just can't. So yeah. Apart from that, Sabrina comes in and reveals that she's let loose a demon, and they're just like, fine.
And then they take a secret path downstairs. Like,
oh yeah, because she comes in and locks the door, leaves the key in the door, and we basically see some scratching and rattling and making really like horrible like bashing sounds on the door. And they're like, we're gonna take a secret exit.
It's like you just have these in the house.
And I was like, of course they do. It's kind of cool. And I was like, do you know what? I'm glad they put it in for just this episode. I like places having secret entrances. There's something about it that, I don't know, growing up I always wish I had, like a secret entrance to a secret room. Okay, there's a part of adult me who wants that too.
Okay, fair. I also want secret rooms.
Yeah.
But I don't have to, run away from demons. So it's more of just like a want.
Yeah, it's a want. I want a place where I can just disappear and appear behind someone downstairs in the kitchen and never pass them. I want to freak people out. That's all I want.
Yes.
There's too much to ask for as an adult. It might be. And then I think we
quick.
Across
I do want to add something to the secret room thing.
Yes.
There is a company out there who specialize in making secret rooms with crazy ass entrance things, like the kind of things you would see in video games, or like if you put a chess piece on the right thing and it unlocks the door, kind of nonsense. And just the fact that they exist makes me very happy.
That is incredible. Oh my god, I could probably do things like that. I have a skill set, which means I could do this. I could make a fortune.
You could, because I guarantee secret rooms are not cheap.
Yeah, they are super not cheap. And also where? How? Like, I know you guys have like really thick walls for like ventilation or something. I don't know. The movies always show that you guys have like huge like gaps in
That's
between.
not a real thing. I mean, in some places it is, but not everywhere.
Oh, come on.
The wall between my room and my roommate's room is probably 2.5 to 3 inches thick. Like, it's not a very thick wall.
Oh yeah, like no offense to us, but people like us are not getting through that kind of secret passage.
No.
Okay. My illusions have now been shattered and destroyed. Thanks, Drew.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, like there's no place to put secret rooms, but you know, this is an old style, like Victorian, kind of like looking, styly, feely, kind of like mortuary. So, yes, of course.
I would love to live in an old smuggling house, as Undead Man puts it.
Or a speakeasy.
Or a speakeasy. Either one. Don't care. I would live in one.
So speakeasy, yes.
Okay, yeah, we gotta get off this first scene.
Oh my god, like yeah, this is so bad of us. Yeah, and then we cut, I believe, to Ambrose.
Mm-hmm. He's definitely
who's reading a magazine.
Oh, he's definitely about to have some solo fun time.
He's about to whack one off.
He definitely is. He's
like beginning to like I want to say unlace.
He's untying his sleeping pants.
Okay, because it just looks like there's a lace up, and it just made me laugh so hard.
They're like he's wearing like fancier gym pants, so there's like a tie, so you like tie the waist.
Fancy pants to have alone time. Okay, well, treat himself.
Well, he's always wandering around in a house coat and all apparently gym shorts or gym pants. Whatever.
He needs to dress up for the occasion. That's fair enough. And then he hears like screaming and running or something, and he just puts it down with an exasperated look of like, oh, come on, right now, really.
He's like, oh, I just wanted some alone time.
It's like, how? Like, I'm in a house full of women. Can you just give me 5 minutes?
It's like, please.
It's a beautiful little like small moment that we spent way too long on, but it was still just like, ah, Ambrose has a life. It's so cool. Anyway. So, the Spellman sisters and daughter and Ambrose then meet in, I believe, the entrance hall, where that very cool staircase is, and they are pretty much just having a conversation of, oh shit, there's a demon loose in the house. Perhaps we should lock the house down first. And they see the demon turn up. And they perform this ritual. And I did the best thing ever. I went into Google Translate and I translated that Latin. This is how much dedication I had to this, Drew.
Okay, good, because I want to know what they said.
This is literally just, I didn't go word for word because that was dumb. I just dumped the whole thing into Google Translate. So this is Google Translate does Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Chilling Adventures of. Fuck, damn it. You, one of the spirits of the air who reveal your omnipotence above all by sparing the key to the door of the thus litigated to the devil, and that the devil from the Grand Cincino this trap. Yeah. I think it's supposed to mean, yo, spirits, do you mind locking the door?
Lock the door.
The devil commands it.
Yes. Lock the door, and we're the only ones who have keys, and also I guess maybe the devil has a spare.
Yeah, I didn't bother translating the rest of the Latin that turned up in this episode, because, yep.
I don't know. That's
a golden nugget like this.
That's a great new thing. I love it. Yeah, they lock the house down with some magic just before the demon shows up. And up to this point, they have not shown the demon outside of shadows.
No.
So she's been super creepy, just wandering around in the dark. You see like taloned fingers, and it's
mess of hair.
Yeah, and a mess of hair, and it's creepy. And it tells them she wants revenge on the Spellmans, and then to bring nightmares into the world, and then I go to sleep, demon. Ha ha ha. Don't let it put us to sleep, and
Yeah.
that's where everything goes wrong.
Yeah, I mean, so they're basically standing there like, "Yo, what do you want?" She's like, "Kill you all, and then nightmare everyone else." And they're like, "Oh no, it's a demon."
By the way, we've locked the house down. You can't leave. So
No. Nobody let us. No, don't let anyone fall asleep because that's her realm. And Zelda pulls out this random urn from, I assume, nowhere.
it looks like she opened a box where they just got a shipment of urns in.
Yeah. Like, this is we got like 10 for a fiver.
Yeah.
It's that kind of like cheap urn looking thing. And she says something with great gusto in Latin, which I didn't translate because I thought, no, I can't do this again.
Please always do it.
And we see we see the demon, we see it properly. And the demon is just this fairly short looking chick with like a face that looks like it's been wrinkled out in the sun. It's basically like a prune.
I'm gonna say, because it took me until the second viewing, somewhere towards the end, that I realized what the demon looks like. The demon looks like if you took a really ugly potato and stuck a wig on it and some elf ears, and then was like, it's a demon.
Yes.
This
is what happened when like Mr. Potato Head like
left...
died and then we brought it back again.
You left Mr. Potato Head in a cupboard too long, and he wilted and withered. But then you still wanted to play Mr. Potato Head, so you stuck the ears and the wig on him, and there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so when we actually see her, the demon, she's not terrifying at all. No. She's not even remotely creepy. She's not even my creepy radar. I was just like, there's nothing about you that makes me uneasy, and I think demons and stuff should at least make you uneasy to look at them.
Yeah. Perfectly fine for a TV show style makeup, but you're on Netflix. Let's get some slightly better VFX budgets, please.
Yeah, and this isn't Teenage Witch. This is the Chilling Adventures. Like, we can do freaky. It's fine. You're just relying a little too much on cheese here, and it makes me sad.
Yeah, it kind of, considering this is supposed to be like an answer to Riverdale and a more gritty, real like reboot of Sabrina and the Archie comic franchise, the direction they go here is just kind of sad because they like lean into the cheese of it, and it's like, but you're doing like a scary, like a more gritty reboot. Get away from the cheese.
Yeah, it's really annoying because even in this episode, they do scare. They do like genuinely like gore and horror, and they do it well. But in so many other places, they don't, and it sticks out like a sore thumb. It sticks out like a Mr. Potato Head you stuck a wicked ears on. Like, it's super bad.
Yeah, it's not great. But after Zelda locks this demon in an urn, they go have a nice calm cup of tea, and Zelda's rude here, which I love, because she's like, oh, maybe now you'll learn a lesson and not open boxes that you don't know what's inside of them. Sabrina, God.
That was honestly my favorite thing, because she does it in such like a horrible, like negative way of like, maybe you should learn your lesson. But it is a genuinely
good lesson.
Piece of advice. Don't play with the magic box. Don't open it if you don't know what's in it. I'm like, that applies to many things in life. If I receive a box in the mail and I don't know what's in it, I do my best to find out what it is first.
Yeah. It's a good bit of advice. Zelda just delivers it bad. She's not a good parental figure.
No, she's absolutely not. And I have a thing for that later on. Yeah. Yeah, so piece of good advice given. Positive and negative aren't. The positive aren't being like, hey, you did it, you opened the box, you're awesome. And Aunt Zelda was like, you almost killed us.
Zelda makes you want to open all the boxes.
To get away from Zelda, or just
both? Just to spite her, I guess?
Alright, I'm gonna do a minor side here about opening boxes you don't know what's inside of. Through the mail, I have received 2 packages from Amazon, and they're gift packages, so you don't know what's inside before you open them. So one of them, I figured who it was. It was from my other half, and he gave me something very cool. I was like, hey. The other one I had no idea. It was just this random brown box. It wasn't gift wrapped. There was nothing. There was no indication what this was, and the box was like, it was fairly heavy, and it sounded like it had things that could break in it because you could shake it and things moved. And I did not open this box for like nearly a week. And then this person turned up my house on the Friday and was like, "Oh, did you get my package?" I'm like, "What package?" She's like, "I sent you a package from Amazon. Did it arrive?" I'm like, "That was you?" And it was electrical tape. It was incredible.
Just some electrical tape. Love it.
Sorry, I needed to add that as a side. It wasn't a dangerous thing, but I understand receiving boxes you don't know what's in. Don't open them.
It's a fair thing. Don't open things that you don't know what's inside of them. Just smart. Let's all be safe out there.
Yeah. So then Sabrina goes to bed, basically.
She gets tucked in by Hilda, which I think...
She does.
16-year-old, her aunt is just like, I'm going to tuck you into bed every day. And it's adorable.
A little creepy.
It is also creepy. But it's creepy in the way of, like, from the outside, it's like, oh, this is really creepy. But, like, if you think about it, it's like, Hilda's just, like, this really bubbly, happy person.
Yeah.
So it's more just like, she's like, I just want to make sure you're tucked into bed and you're all safe, and I'm going to put a protection charm on you, and...
Yeah, it's just, like, adorable hedge witch. It's really cute and really, like... Stepping back is like, that's a bit weird, but yeah, it is really cute, and like in the moment it's really nice, but also there's like a this doesn't feel right, and it's not because it's just awkward. And yeah, basically Sabrina begins to nod off to sleep, and then cool camera, change, pan, move, and oh no, it's the demon. Oh shit. And she's being lured to sleep.
Everyone's asleep.
Find out what's the lovely young Miss Wardwell has been doing. She stares through the mirror and she calls the demon out by name. The worst name in the world.
Yeah, you wanna tell people what that name is?
The name is Batty Bat. Really, really. Okay, so demon named Batty Bat, and that's why I can't take this seriously. Has a conversation with Miss Wardwell, where we find out Miss Wardwell is the mother of demons. She's not just a demon, she's the mother of demons. And they have a conversation of, you abandoned me in that kind of box thing for like 70 years. What the fuck, Mum? And Mum is like, don't hurt the child. And the child is like, do you know what? No, I'm just going to kill Sabrina and all of them. Laters, and breaks the mirror.
Although, also, to be fair, 70 years to an immortal being should kind of be like
It should be nothing.
a blip. It's just
It should be like a weekend.
It's like, you know what? I was really bored for 2 days. Like, okay. And now I'm free. But yeah, like Salem runs by and Batty Bat's like, oh, a familiar. I'm gonna go stop that, and pulls a knife out for some reason, even though she's got claws on her hands and feet.
Yeah.
And then stalks after Salem.
So what's she trying to do? Like preserve a manicure? Like
No.
It's not gonna happen.
The knife doesn't make sense. She's covered in sharp objects.
Yeah,
Also, she has seashells in her hair, and that really takes away from the whole demon thing, because it really just looks like she's spending a nice week in a beach town, and she's going.
Yeah,
she's
it's like she spent a week in a beach town. She hasn't bothered brushing her hair, and she's just had like some like rolled around on the sand a little bit too much, and that's equated for where the hair's not going back together properly, and what it's covered in seashells. It's like it's not a good look. I mean, no, to be fair, that's probably the point, but it's not a good look.
Exactly.
And then we see these really cool demony metronome things. They're kind of cool.
I do like the metronomes. I thought that was really neat.
They are very cool, man. The metronomes are basically just like the innards of the body, like the lungs, the heart, and the intestines. And it's just metronome, and it's just like setting this like very just. I don't like the sound of ticking, which is why I really hated this. So it's like, I appreciate those. I don't like them, but I appreciate them. They're cool.
Also, I want to say hi to Polish Ogre, who has hopped into the chat.
Hello.
And I agree, 70 years to an immortal is like having mono.
Okay, I'm gonna throw it. I don't know what mono is. We don't have mono here. I don't understand what it is.
I feel like you definitely have mono. It's a disease that's spread through like saliva. You get really sick. You have like Sort of like strep throat. I don't remember what, like a different virus causes it, but your throat swells up, you lose your voice, your throat hurts, you have fevers, chills.
We call that tonsillitis.
Mononucleosis. There we go. Thank you, Paula Sugar. I couldn't remember the name of the actual thing.
I still don't know what it is. I don't.
You get a
We
really
have
bad sore
tonsillitis.
throat, and a lot of high
We have
schoolers
cold.
get it because they share drinks or make out,
Of
and
course, yeah.
yeah,
We did that too.
also makes you tired.
Well, yeah, I just put that down to being a teenager. I don't.
Being unable to talk and breathe.
Well, it's just like being a teen. Like I don't know. Like mono sounds like really common, I guess, over in New America. Peeps. Like
I honestly, I wouldn't say it's common. I'd say it's more one of those things that like a lot of people like know someone who's had it, because I've only ever known one person who had mono, like ever.
I don't think I've heard of anyone who's mono in the UK. Just not. I don't know. I guess we just get told to shut up and go to school.
Everyone, start tweeting Sawbones and ask about mono in the UK. See if they'll
Yeah,
talk about it.
Because I don't know if it's. I just don't know anyone. Like we just get told like take this sore throat thing and go back to school. Yeah. Stop skiving. That's what we get told. Well, we're horrible here, so I don't know. Anyway, so we go into Sabrina's dream. And in Sabrina's dream, her two worlds have collided in her high school. The horrible girls are there saying, "Don't become prom queen because fuck you." We see that the warlock is there and is hitting on her, but so is her other boyfriend, Harvey.
Also,
Yeah.
her dream is very like 1950s, and
Yeah, it
I
really is.
hate it.
Under the sea, like get to the prom under the sea. Don't be there. It'll be a square sort of thing. So yeah, they're there. I don't know if you noticed, but there's lots of parallels between the schools that she goes to.
Oh yeah, there are. There's a lot of them.
They're basically just almost identical. Apart from the fact that one is set in a new-ish building and the other one's set in Pentagon buildings. So, yeah. And in this dream, we have some really cool like lighting effect as Harvey goes down on one knee and says, "Marry me," and she's like,
And then some Zelda. She's talking to her aunts, and Zelda's obviously staunchly opposed to the marriage because he's immortal,
Of course.
and
Of course.
witches can't marry mortals. And then Hilda's like, "But you love him, so you should definitely get married to him." And we get that opposed aunt thing of one just being mean and one of being way too supportive.
Yeah, it's literally do you need the pros and cons of why you should or shouldn't marry this guy? Here's your answer and a handy explanation. One will give you the pros, the other one will give you the cons.
Just the cons.
And you know, they basically devolve down to if you're gonna marry him, you're gonna need to tell him. So in her dream, she does, and he takes it surprisingly well.
He takes it so well while she's wearing her mother's wedding dress.
Yes, and he appears to be getting into his groom outfit. I don't know what you call it, costume.
Tux? Suit?
Getting into his tux. I don't know what you want to call it. He's getting into his wedding costume.
Wedding costume.
I don't know what. I guess tux suit.
Okay, but calling anything costume makes me feel like it's like it takes it down a notch from like realism to just like, oh yeah, I am a fireman. I wear a fireman's costume. Like it takes away from the seriousness.
Okay, so like we have like wedding dresses. I don't know what you guys have. Like
Suits.
tuxes,
We have suits.
everyday occurrences. Like no, they should be better than that. Anyway, he's putting on his, I assume, tux, his suit, whatever he's wearing. And he says he vaguely remembers her saying that she was a witch back in the forest, even though he doesn't remember it because she removed his memories. And the thing I wrote here is that whenever anyone asks her if she loves him, she really never gives a very straight answer.
Because she doesn't know. She's being a 60-year-old.
It's weird.
It's
Like,
super
yes, I would say yes to marrying you, but I'm not sure I love you. Like, it's that there. It's already there. And I poor Harvey, man. Like, I think he's a true victim in this entire story.
Honestly, yeah, let's be fair, if this were a Monster Heart game, Harvey is the victim. Like, Harvey is the one who's getting mistreated by everybody because he doesn't belong.
Yeah, like even in her dreams, she mistreats him. It's just like, yeah, I'll marry him, but I'm still like, even like when she sees him then, and when they go down and do like, basically they go down and do this cool little wedding thing, she's still not sure.
Mhm.
It's freaking weird. Like,
She
what
says
is
she
this
loves him,
unbelievable?
but yeah, no, I think she just loves the idea of having. She loves the
Yeah,
idea of Harvey more than she loves Harvey himself.
yeah. I mean, this is a conversation I think we had like 2 or 3 episodes ago.
Something, but yeah, I mean, but
Like,
that's what it
it's
is, though.
definitely like this feeling here.
Yeah.
So he says, yes, I'll still marry you. This is all going to be fine and chill and everything's good. And they go down and they have what I think is like the coolest looking wedding thing ever. She gets given a bunch of flowers by the warlock guy. And she's like, you can come on the broom and run away. And she's like, no, I already said I'd marry Harvey. I guess I have to do it now. Nope. And she gets given these flowers, and half of them are black, and half of them are like this kind of peachy color. It's irrelevant, really. And she walks down the aisle with her daddy, who appears because it's a dream. And
Yep.
what I really like is on one half there's the witch side, and the other half there is her mortal friends and his mortal whatever it is, a bunch of people I know. And one side is dark and black, and the other side is like bright and colored, and it looks really cool. It's a really good symbolism of like, I'm trying to marry these two things together. It's gonna be great, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
And it's not.
Well, Blackwood officiates, so that's probably a good thing, right? In his
And he
fucking evil
seems
Pope outfit.
it's kind of cool though. He seems way into this holy and unholy matrimony. I'm like, oh no, not again.
Fucking Blackwood. um, yeah. This actually I liked. Okay, Sabrina's dream is the longest, first of all. It goes on the longest before it jumps away from this. But the thing I want to point out is I like this dream sequence because it's such a dream that, like, if main characters weren't the dumbest people in every situation, Sabrina would be like, oh, this is a dream. This is a really dumb dream. Because
Yeah.
Blackwood gets to the, does anyone have some, like, does anyone oppose this? Like, speak now, forever hold your peace. And a bunch of miners run in and they're like, kill the witch. And every mortal.
It's his dad.
Yeah, it's
his dad and his
Kinkle's,
brother.
it's Harvey's dad and his brother. But the thing's like, every mortal in the room, so Susie, Roz, every mortal that she knows immediately has torches and pitchforks. And they're like, kill the witch. And all the witches she knows are just like,
They just sit there and do nothing. Which kind of like, I guess the fear is there for her that, the mortals will not accept her who she is because, witches get bad stick. Let's not lie. I mean, look at Aunt Z and Faustus and whatever. But I guess it also shows that she doesn't think that the witches would ever help her, like, at all. Like, even her aunt, even her aunt Hilda in this situation doesn't help her.
It's gotta be that. It's gotta be the idea of, like, mortals will turn on her at any moment and the witches won't protect her.
Yeah, the witches will do nothing for her. Which again, interesting looking to her psyche and all this horrible shit that's going down with her. Anyway, so a bunch of people grab her. Harvey being the leader, like, you should have told me.
Yeah,
And
don't forget Harvey also chokes her.
Oh yeah,
It's just like, you should have told me, and then they put her in an Iron Maiden. First of all, where did you guys get an Iron Maiden?
it's a dream.
You know what?
Magic.
I can't argue with that.
Thank you. And this is what I was saying about the gross horribleness. Is like, they do this really well. They put her in the Iron Maiden, and you see these spikes. You don't see them go into her because that's, I think, a bit too graphic for what they're doing here. But you see it close as she screams, and you see blood pouring out down these like little faucety things, and it's just like, that's the gross level that we wanted. It didn't look cheesy, it didn't look terrible. They did it in a way that still made you go, oh, that's gonna hurt, that's gonna sting. It was uncomfortable.
Yeah. And then Batty Bat appears in front of the Iron Maiden and basically tells Sabrina that, yeah, it's a dream, and the dream's gonna hurt until you break and tell me how to get out of the house.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna go visit your other family members and see if I can make them break.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's the one thing I just said about the Iron Maiden, we're making it sound really cool. It's not so much.
It kind of looks like it's made out of, like, styrofoam.
Yeah, it looks like it's made out of like spray painted styrofoam.
It's not the best VFX thing they could have had.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely seen them do better things. I think in the school they did like really good stuff in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously this is Dream, and we'll give it leniency. And then we move over to Ambrose's Dream.
I like Ambrose's dream. It's super short, but his is, I think, my favorite because it's just very odd. And
Ambrose,
Ambrose being Ambrose makes it the best, I think.
yeah, like there's so much about Ambrose's Dream. As you say, it's like super short compared to everyone else's.
Hmm.
I think it may be my favorite, with the exception of the end of Aunt Zelda's. Like this may be my favorite. Um, So we see Ambrose. We cut to Ambrose, and he's sitting on the stairs, and he's playing with Salem, and he's basically going, "Oh, playing with you is just all I need to do to get you to talk to me." I think is basically what he says.
Something, yeah.
Um, and Aunt Hilda comes in and is like, "Yo, there's a dead body, been stabbed to death. Let's go check it out." And he's like, "Oh, is it a jilted lover or whatever it was?" And he goes into these really cool like explanations of what this person and this body could be. And she's like, "Oh no, it's a shut-in.
No friends.
Yeah,
No one to
yeah,
mourn
no
him.
friends." Yeah, that was it. That was it. And you can tell immediately she's describing him. Like there's no other way around it. And he goes in. He opens up the body bag in the mortuary, and lo and behold, it is in fact him. And she doesn't seem to recognize that it's him in this body bag. Um, and then she goes away, and he
Hmm.
begins the autopsy. And I'm pretty sure he's doing the "Alas, poor Yorick"
Oh,
speech.
he is.
I'm
He's literally
like,
just doing the Yorick speech like the whole time, and then he takes a bite out of his own heart,
yeah.
and
And that's
that's
the point Aunt Hilda turned back up.
she shows back up, and she's like, "Oh, how's your own heart taste?"
Bitter.
Anyway, the high priest is here, so come upstairs.
I love that. Like it was just like a one-word comment back to her of just like it's bitter. Like it's so good.
Hmm.
It says so much. And as he's making his way back, he bumps into Wardwell. And she's like, "Yes, I'm in the wrong place." And he's like, "Okay then."
All
I
right.
have to say, whatever she's wearing, I think it's her dressing gown is super revealing.
It is, yeah, it is very revealing.
Boy, yeah, that's what I'm gonna go on there. It's super revealing. It made me just, I always just looked and like, I can't look away now. This is so
Well, I'm
um,
locked in here.
yeah, it's like great, thanks. I'm trying to pay attention to this, and what I'm seeing is that dress. It's a good dress. Don't get me wrong, all night dress, whatever she's wearing. Anyway, he goes up and he talks to Blackwood.
Hmm.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
and
Blackwood.
Blackwood said that since whatever incarceration he was under the stewardship of Edward, and Edward is dead. So technically, he's free.
You just leave the house. It's fine. Here's a bunch of money.
I think that's literally how they phrase it. Like, here's a bag of money.
Yeah, it's a leather like doctor style satchel, and he's like, it's
Yeah.
just full of money. Go somewhere.
Yeah, and you can do all the things you want and buy whatever clothes you want. Which clearly he does in a blink of an eye because it's a dream. And he leaves that with Aunt Hilda, and she's like really happy for him and like proud of him and like really cheery. And he is, in fact, wearing a different set of clothes.
He is, but he doesn't actually make it out of the house, which I think is
No.
probably the worst part.
Yeah, it's super sad because he gets to the door, and as soon as he gets to the door, Batty Bat attacks him with a knife.
Yep.
And says that basically you're not leaving. And then we see him inside the body that he was autopsying, and we see all the lines delivered from the point of view of the body. Yeah, and we see Batty Bat basically say the same thing of like, you're going to be stuck in this like existential crisis hell that's going on for you, being autopsied as you are, and I think you're going to break. And it's either going to be you or Hilda. And I was like, oh, that's harsh. But the reason I really like this is because they get like vaguely graphic with some of the autopsy bits.
Hmm.
It's super cool. It's super gross. But also, isn't that just like a lot of people's worst nightmares?
Being
Is
autopsied alive.
being autopsied alive. Yeah, I can imagine that's gonna hurt.
Hmm.
And he's stuck inside his own head, screaming and yelling and calling out for Aunt Hilda to help him, which was like heartbreaking for me.
Oh,
I was like,
definitely.
"Oh." But yeah, I thought this was like a super interesting dream.
Oh, I like this. I liked Ambrose's a lot. But then
Yeah.
we go to Hilda's dream,
Oh
which
yes.
is weird.
Oh boy, this one gets. This is a different kind of dream.
I have so many comments about Hilda's dream.
I will let you take the raisin Hilda's dream.
Okay, so Hilda is clearly cooking something when the phone rings. I don't know what she's cooking because it's gray and goopy. Yeah, but the phone rings and she runs out to answer it, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll be right there." And it's Principal Hawthorne who's calling her, and then under the guise of having a meeting about Sabrina's school, but oh, she's the best student ever, and oh, you're such a good parent figure, and uh, and Hilda shit talks Zelda because she's like, yeah, Zelda just wants her to be traditionally educated. I want her to be more well rounded.
Yes. Basically saying Zelda doesn't care about her mortal side.
Exactly. And Hawthorne's like, yes, I can tell. Gets real creepy.
Real
And
quick.
before that goes too far, though, Wardwell pops in.
Yes.
She's like, have either of you seen Sabrina? No? Oh, okay.
Carry on then. Awkward.
Yeah. But then after she leaves, Principal Hawthorne's like, will you let me cook for you? Which, weird way to phrase it in my opinion, but okay.
Honestly, sometimes it's nice to hear the phrase, I'm going to cook for you instead.
Okay, see, that's one thing. But the way he says, will you let me cook for you, is like, I got creep chills.
I didn't get creeped at
Okay.
all. I just got creeped out because he was sitting on Hilda. I'm like, please leave her alone. You're a scumbag.
That's fair. But we jump from that to Hilda looking at dresses and shirts, and Zelda, for the first time in this entire show, eating something.
Yes. Clearly a dream.
She's sitting on the bed behind Hilda, eating chocolates and just being so mean. Because the first thing out of her mouth is, does he know you're a virgin?
Yeah. And then it's and then it's just like, don't wear that. You look terrible. You're never gonna look good. You're never gonna keep him if you don't put
You're
out.
gonna have to put out. He doesn't care. He's not gonna like you.
It's really horrible.
She's so
And
mean. But
And it's one of those things that all those teenage girls worry about, and it's sad that Hilda is going through this now. I'm like, no,
Right.
that's me.
oh, Zelda's an awful sister. But Hilda slaps her, and it somehow stitches her face closed, like her mouth shut. Which so now Zelda can't talk. So that's cool, sort of.
Yeah, it's gross and awesome.
Exactly. Now here's my big comment that I want to make. So Hilda is now in some sort of room that has a lot of plants and a jukebox and a table. And it looks like Principal Hawthorne literally just cooked her a bunch of different types of jello.
It's either Jello or sweets. Like they're clearly just desserts, I think.
Yeah, just desserts. Like a lot of them. They have some sort of really thick wine that honestly looks like it would also be like overly sweet. Whatever it is.
Because it's not red wine and it's definitely not rosé.
It's like
Maybe some sort of like cherry strawberry juice thing. I don't really
it's
know.
got kind of the same like consistency look of like straight up strawberry syrup that you would use on ice cream. Like it's got that consistency.
Yeah.
It doesn't look good and it doesn't look like something you should drink. But then she's just talking about Zelda the whole time, just like Zelda's so mean and Zelda this and Zelda that. And then Hawthorne's like, oh yeah, I had a brother who was stillborn. And I mourn the man he could have been. And it gets really awkward and quiet for a second. And then it cuts to Hilda stumbling up the stairs talking about the last time she was this drunk was Queen Elizabeth's coronation.
Queen Victoria's coronation.
Yeah,
I think she said it was, and she got drunk on the other side of the Thames. So good.
Yes. And Hawthorne puts her to bed, finally. And we see this like second of. All right, this is my biggest knock on this whole dream thing, is because we see black background and we see stuff floating in front of the camera really rapidly. We see Batty Pat's face, and then we see like scissors and sutures, and we see like an oxygen mask. Why is Batty Pat performing surgery in a dream?
I don't know.
That part, I was like, you literally, A, you're a magical demon, B, they're witches. Like, why is there surgery involved?
Well, I think also because she stabs up Ambrose, and she didn't need to. Like, she could have had anything attack him.
Yeah, but what I
That's
mean is Zelda is drunk in the dream and has no memory because she wakes up in the next scene like confused about what's going on because Hawthorne's just going on about how he ate his twin brother in utero and his mom hates him for it and she's just like the fuck is happening
yeah,
and then Hawthorne opens his shirt and he's got a Quado situation going on because he's got a man's face in his chest
yeah,
because
it's super gross.
it's
It's cool.
yeah, it's his brother Bob.
Yeah, of course. Of
And
course.
Hilda tries to get up and run away, but she's been sewn to Zelda.
Yeah.
But
Her dark half. She's literally referred to as her dark half at this point.
I mean, she really is Hilda's dark half.
Yeah, they literally are. They're like one person split in half. And she's stuck with her. They're sewn together. Like there's no escaping this. And she's like screaming and unhappy. And Batty Bat comes back up and is like, I will help you get rid of your dark half if you tell me how to get out. Think about it.
Yeah, I still don't like the
I-
surgery bit. Everything else that happened is like okay, because like Ambrose being stabbed is like sure he shouldn't need to do that, but who's not afraid of being violently murdered? You know,
And autopsies are lied.
and autopsy alive. Whereas in the dream, it could have just been like, and Hilda wakes up and she's sewn to Zelda.
Yeah.
Like that's all that was really required.
This one, like, it's really weird because I think yeah, it comes up much later on. I believe it maybe even when she's like talking about this bit with Hawthorne when she's actually having the ridiculous amount of jelly. She basically says she's fed up of being treated like a joke. And that's exactly how they treat her dream sequence. Like, the end of Sabrina's is she's stuck in an Iron Maiden, and yeah, that's pretty wrong. Like Ambrose is being autopsied alive. The end of Zelda's is probably like the worst one in my opinion. And like the end of Hilda's like she's sewn to her sister. She can still get up and do things. It's not physically hurting her, it's not restraining her in any way. There's no like crippling emotional stuff going on there. She's just sewn to her sister. Like yeah, I get like the representation here, but it's not as bad, for example, as say anything else. And they could have done like far more worse things with this.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's just like, oh no, they did this to her. I do like the dream because it's really wacky. It's a proper dream, in my opinion, compared to the rest of them. It is like that weird way that your dreams work, and it's hilarious to have a not naughty dream. It's hilarious. Being and bearing in mind that she was reading the trash novel before, so
yes. And then we go to Zelda's dream, which is probably, I feel like, the not bad, like unenjoyable, bad in like it's really kind of mean.
Yeah, they really give her character layers in this one. They really like this like dream. I think it probably lasted like 5, 6, 7 minutes or something. They really like adds much to her character here. They really show things here, and it's real good. That's why I kind of like this episode. Anyway, so we go to Zelda, and she's teaching children not the Bible to children. So she's sitting in like a parlor room, and there's a bunch of children here. Some of them are eating, and some of them are just like.
No, there's only one of them eating.
Just one of them eating.
It's just the Augustus Gloop of the group.
Yes, of course. And she's basically telling them that the Bible's not so. It's wrong. Like God said, eat this and you'll snuff it, and he was wrong because she ate it and she didn't snuff it. She got knowledge and her freedom, whereas this dude was keeping her naked in a garden. When you phrase it like that, I think I understand.
Agreed. It's an interesting way to phrase things.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, that's an interesting twist. She clearly comes from the Blackwood school of charm, twisting of stuff. And she has the 3 weird sisters turn up. The weird sisters, I think, turn up in all of them. I think.
I think
the weird sisters turn up here. Oh no, they don't play in Ambrose.
It's just Sabrina and
Zelda.
Zelda. They're not in Hilda's and they're not in Ambrose's.
I thought she. Oh no, never mind. My bad. So yeah, the weird sisters turn up and say, You have been chosen for once a year. Our Dark Lord visits with the mortals, and he has chosen you to visit tonight.
Make him dinner.
Yeah, come for dinner. And she calls Hilda in, says we need to cook for the Dark Lord, and Hilda's like, I'll make a vegetable pie.
And Zelda's like, he's a carnivore. We need meat. And Hilda's like, oh, I could go get a pot roast from the butcher. And Zelda's like, oh no, we have a much better morsel here.
Oh, poor Augustus.
Yeah,
Like,
so she kills and cooks Augustus Gloop,
yeah,
although his name is Fergus.
his name is Fergus.
But it also only looks like she cooks his head and his feet.
Yeah. Or just like the bottom half of his torso and the very bottom bits of his legs. I don't really
Yeah,
know.
I don't know. Anyway, we move on from
Yeah.
there because the devil does show up, and this part made me laugh. Oh, so many times. The devil's just Blackwood with horns and really bad facial hair.
He looks like a terrible, terrible Johnny Depp.
He does. It's just like, So Zelda, you think the devil just looks like the guy you definitely bang occasionally with
Yeah,
bad
you
facial
really
hair.
have a thing with this guy.
Uh-huh.
So he turns up and he talks to the pair of them and he's like, "What did you cook for me?" And Hilda's like, "I made a vegetable pie with onions."
No.
Don't be silly. I know you don't like onions. It was just such a really casual throwing remark I love. And then he turns to Zelda and she's like, "I cooked you a child, Christian child or a child of the night, the plumpest."
But it is a child of the night.
Yeah.
And then he's like, we don't have a lot of witches, so that's fucked up. I'm only gonna eat this vegetable pie.
Yeah. He eats the pie, and we see, we hear him having a good time with Hilda, and basically he leaves, and she's like, "I'll praise you. Oh, you're so kind. See you soon. Don't be a stranger." And it's adorable. This kind of like, oh, of course she and the devil would get on. She could be getting on with the worst person in the world and the nicest person in the world. Like Hilda, everyone loves Hilda.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is literally the point of this dream.
I think
that-
so, but it's also, I mean, it's Cain and Abel. That's,
Yeah.
So Zelda doesn't feel good enough. She always feels like she's overshadowed by her super nice, pleasant sister, and everyone likes her sister, and no one likes
because,
Zelda.
Almost like Hilda doesn't need to work for their affection.
Yeah.
But Zelda does. Like, Zelda loves being a witch. She loves the Dark Lord. Hilda doesn't seem to give a monkeys.
No.
And she's just really upset that she's put in all this effort and nobody notices her. And it really gets to her and it really upsets her. She hates it. And she just wants to be loved.
So she does what everyone who wants to be loved does.
Of course she does.
She murders her sister and buries her in the yard.
With a shovel.
With a shovel.
She's there. I think she's drinking something or holding. I don't really know.
She's washing her hands when when the devil shows up again, and he's like, "Hey, where's your sister?"
I want to hook up. Yeah.
Where's your sister? I wanna. She's cute. I wanna hook up.
I wanna hook up. Have you got a number? And she's like, "No, she's not. She's not here. She'll be back here soon." She always comes back, and the devil's like, she's gone for life this time. She's gone forever from your life.
Yeah.
She's never coming back." And that's when Zelda breaks. She realizes that her sister is not coming back. That's it. There's no more to her. And I think at one point we zoom out a little bit and we see like Zelda's corpse behind her or something.
Yeah, her corpse is in the back, covered in dirt and worms.
Yeah, it's like she's not come up. And it's that moment where she realizes that her sister, like, there's only a certain amount of time she can kill her sister, or for example, in a more other, like, not we're gonna kill you sense, be horrible or push her sister away, before she's genuinely just going to leave and not come back. And it destroys Zelda. Like, she can't be broken through to, she can't be spoken to, she can't be reasoned with. She is just distraught and genuinely upset, like very, very hurt, because she does love her sister. She does. It's her family. She cares about her, and she's already proven that she'll do almost anything to keep her family together, even if it's flies in the face of, this is how the family looks, which is very important to her, but it's not as important as her family. And this ending here, like, it's it's gutting, it's horrible, and it's amazing. It adds so much to Zelda's character. I loved it.
It really does. And honestly, this was the darkest dream, I think.
Yeah.
Sabrina's was like, eh. Ambrose is kind of fucked up. Hilda's is kind of a joke. Zelda's is legitimately, I feel like, much darker than the other ones.
Yeah, because we have pain. Sorry, we have like physical pain. Again, a form of physical pain. And we have loss. Like, loss is the one thing that you can't ever really stop. You can take painkillers, you can't stop loss.
Yeah.
And it's so dark. It was just like, I'm glad they did that. I'm glad they involved her character bit. And as much as I liked her whole bit here, even though it's a little bit like funny and goofy in places, they did like the 100% 180 opposite with her sister and made it jokey and terrible, and I hated it.
Yeah.
It just was not as good. Anyway.
Yes. We jump back to Sabrina's dream at this point.
We did.
Where Wardwell shows up and tells Sabrina that she's going to wake her up, and when she does, you just need to run away as fast as you can because self-preservation is the only thing that matters.
Yes.
And
Sabrina, because she's goody two-shoes, is like, no, what about my aunties and Ambrose?
I do like, because she asked how Wardwell got there, and she says, a gin-cleared mind, self-induced sleep, and a clear intent.
Yes, that's the one.
I like that, because it's like, oh, okay, so you just... It's the first... Honestly, the first inkling that Mrs. Wardwell is something other than a regular mortal.
Yes, it's the first inkling that Sabrina gets for this, for sure,
Yep.
yeah.
But Wardwell wakes up and then stabs one of her many voodoo dolls of the family, which wakes up Sabrina, who screams, and the demon comes looking for her. I refuse to say the name. The name is really stupid. Comes looking for her, and she runs away, and she goes to try to wake up Ambrose.
All right, this is a place where I actually had a problem here. So when we last saw Sabrina, when we saw Sabrina when she opened the box, she was in her room, and she's holding the box, and the demon pops out, and she screams, and that's the end of the episode. When we come back here, Sabrina is hiding under the bed when the demon comes in, which I guess is a fair thing. You hide under the bed if you're scared, and a real small child. I guess she's conveying that. And then she sort of looks to her left a bit, and there's the box. She left it under the bed? What? Carefully placed. It didn't roll under. It didn't look like it was a pile of stuff. No, this clearly had to be in place from the position she was before. I was like, why? What?
Not only that, the box...
To put it under the bed and run? What?
Well, not only that, the box also fell apart when she opened it, and now it's back together again.
Yeah.
Like it's closed up again.
Super weird.
Very.
It is partially open because the knobbly bits are like pulled out and
the
sides are pulled out as well, so it's not like completely squished in together.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was just like, this makes no sense to me.
No.
Anyway, she tries to go wake up Ambrose, and she tries to stop the metronome, the demony metronome thing, and it just like zaps her or something.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what it does.
Yeah, and that's the last we ever really see of the metronomes. They could have been way cooler. They weren't.
Yeah, they're kind of like, it's set dressing. Okay.
There's nothing after that. Salem turns up while she's dealing with this and trying to look through some books, and she's conversing with him.
Yes.
The thing is mewing and meowing. We're not hearing him, which makes me sad because it just.
We don't hear him, but she hears him.
Clearly. And a little bit of me was sad that we didn't hear him, but I guess this isn't the episode where we find out he talks. Damn. So she has a conversation with him, and there is a plan. A very terrible plan is hatched.
Yeah, she knows the demon's real name, and she's gonna go fight the demon because she has a book.
Yeah. Which, I guess, fair.
I guess, because, yeah, Sabrina runs out to fight the demon, tries to banish her, the Acheron configuration gets broken, and she gets cut.
Yeah, she gets sliced up.
So it goes about as well as you would imagine.
Yeah, it's like, I have no real knowledge. I have a book and a name. come at me, bro. Oh, fuck.
This went so bad.
I changed my mind. And she runs back to somewhere, I think it is.
She
And,
runs to her aunts at this point to try to wake them up.
yeah.
And that doesn't work.
Clearly not working. And she talks to Salem again and tells her this plan that she's going to lucid dream to wake everyone else up or to go into their dreams because she can't wake them up and bring them into the waking world. And she's like, of course I have a plan. The plan's going to be the best thing ever.
Yep.
And yeah, so she gets something that will help her fall asleep.
She gets Foxglove. And Salem meows and she's like, yeah, I know too much is going to kill me. That's why I'm just going to take the right amount.
Duh.
Sabrina, you clearly don't know what the right amount is.
Yeah. Like, you have no clue. Anyway, she takes this thing and she lies on the autopsy table with an alarm clock.
Mm-hmm.
And Salem, we assume, pretends to be Sabrina. And the demon follows fake Salem, Salem pretending to be Sabrina up some, like, spiral staircasey thing.
Yep.
Out of the autopsy room, because that's where you clearly have these sort of things.
Of course.
And then Sabrina's like, well, I'm going to go to sleep now, try and wake everyone up. And yeah, with Batty Bat being lured away, she does exactly just that with an alarm clock for 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm. She goes to Zelda's dream, and Zelda's crying and upset, which makes sense.
Yep, way too distraught, cannot get through to her in any way, shape, or form. Mm-hmm. There's nothing intelligible coming out, so she's like, I'm going to need to go to the other aunt.
Who she does.
She does indeed.
And Hilda's way more help, because Hilda's like, nightmares are just bad dreams, so how do you catch a dream? My spiders can help you.
Yeah. And I was like, okay. Oh, she's a dream catcher, but don't they? Oh, yeah, well, that makes sense.
But then this is my favorite part, because she goes to Ambrose's dream, and he's sitting there using an old-timey drill on himself. And she's like, Ambrose, what are you doing? And they both look up, and they're like, what are you doing here? Stop talking. Ambrose gets into an argument with himself.
It's like, stop answering this thing.
She's talking to me, not you.
It's the greatest representation of him just torturing himself. Mm-hmm. It's just like, it's a great metaphor. I loved it so much. I love Ambrose. I love Ambrose's dream. And she's basically like, I'm gonna need a distraction. And he's like, okay.
All right, what do you need me to do? Because as always, Ambrose is just on board. Yeah. He's just like, okay.
It's like, well, let's do it. I feel very much like Aunt Hilda is very much the if it's really bad, she won't help out, but she wants you to try and do your best. Mm-hmm. Aunt Zelda's like, I'm not helping you, F you. And Ambrose is like, okay, let's give it a
go. What's the worst that can happen?
I'm currently torturing myself. There is nothing worse right now.
Yeah. So yeah, she tells her she tells Ambrose the secret or the plan, and then we cut to Batty Bat chasing fake Sabrina. And because of how heavy they leaned into a lot of the cheese and the jokes, I really expected fake Sabrina to be like, meow. I was waiting for it. That didn't happen. She just steps into some shadows and then Salem runs out.
Yeah, there was a bit of me that was massively disappointed at this point. Because we know that Salem, we've seen glimpses of like the true form of Salem, and I was a little bit disappointed that when he stepped back into the shadows of Sabrina, that we didn't see a little peek of him being his natural self before we saw him as a cat.
Yeah, honestly, that goblin form, and I'm using the term goblin loosely, is super fucking creepy. Yeah. Why don't we see it more?
I think at this point, because the focus, the hero, is supposed to be Sabrina on this, clearly.
I think the reason is because they spent all their VFX on the first 2 episodes. Their entire VFX budget's gone, and they're just like, listen, we got 8 more episodes of this thing.
You know what? Yeah, I think you're right. This was the budget episode. We have standing sets. Let's use them.
Use them. Slap this old Halloween mask on this person. Here we go.
Yep, let's find a potato in the garden. Got some holes in it. So good.
So yeah, but then Ambrose calls, and he's like, oh yeah, I'll tell you the secret to the house. Just come here, and I'll tell you.
Yep.
So Batty Bat so goes in his dream, and they In the most Ambrose way, like, honestly, if Ambrose was twins, he would be the most irritating character. Because he would definitely do what he does here to everyone constantly.
Yes.
Because he's
Yes.
like, come closer, I can't speak. It's super ancient and creepy. Yes, it's Sumerian. Oh god. It's just like,
Yeah, it's the professional twin moment where they're basically making the person like disorientated by talking to them like one after another, like finishing each other's sentences or running on for the next one. It's kind of one of those. It's definitely an Ambrose thing to do to this
it is.
demon.
Oh man.
It's so much. And she's just like, "Wait, you're fucking with me?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, duh, my cousin's getting away. Idiot.
You idiot. My time comes to run away. And she basically pulls herself back into the real world, and that's when we see Sabrina standing there in front of her in, I think, the parlor again. And we see the little kind of like glass house, like a greenhouse, but really small, for
Full of spiders.
Hilda's familiars, her spiders.
Yep.
Which I was just like, no, no, I'm not okay with this.
But the spiders help out. Volley, they help out.
But this is the one thing. Okay, so I don't mind these so much because they skitter. These spiders skitter. And the thing that's actually scary about spiders is they don't skitter. They're terrifying ninjas of horror and death.
That's true. They're very quiet.
They don't skitter. They don't, unless they're ginormous and covered in chitin or whatever it is. They don't, and these clearly wouldn't. Anyway, so Sabrina starts playing with this like dark cord, and the spiders start going to town on Batty Bat, covering her in web. And she's like, "You don't use dream catchers to catch dreams; you use them to catch nightmares." And then we see the worst effect. I'm calling it the worst effect that has happened so far in this show. It's supposed to be that this creepy demon woman is being held together in spider webs. Do you know what it looks like? Someone has gone batshit crazy with a glue gun.
Mm-hmm.
It's terrible. Like, these are tiny spiders. They would not be that big and that gloopy. And it really does look like someone's gone nuts with a glue gun. It cuts away and it cuts back, and she's mysteriously properly mummified in this web and like struggling against the glue strains. It's terrible. It's so bad. True, it's terrible.
It was not. It's definitely not my favorite VFX shot.
Nah.
Oh,
Nah.
but yeah, Batty Bat is caught, and then the metronomes all stop ticking, and everyone wakes up. And which Ambrose wakes up in a panic. The ants wake up very calmly, just like, "Oh, that was weird. I had a really weird dream." Sabrina.
Yeah. What's she done now?
And then it cuts to Zelda tightening the lid on a preserves jar. And she's like, "It's not as good as an Acheron configuration, but this jam jar is going to work."
Innovation at its best.
Listen, you take that jam jar, you then wrap it in tape, you put that in a box, you put that box in a safe, you put that safe in the ocean.
You concrete it in a concrete block, then you chuck it in the ocean.
Good idea. Point is, basically,
don't want anything to rust, my man.
That's true. You wrap it up as much as possible, and then you put it somewhere far, far away from everyone.
Yeah, like, let's not do this again, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
And then we have an interesting little scene, one you would exactly expect to happen. Auntie apologizes, and she's sad, and they inquire about Sabrina's dreamwalking.
And she says,
he knows everything.
Yeah, I like that because, she's very obviously remembers everyone's dreams. And she's like, "No, I don't remember anything. You guys have nothing to worry about. I certainly don't remember that you're all a bunch of crazy people."
Yeah.
Who have weird fears.
I don't remember that you were sewn together with Auntie. I don't remember that Aunt Hilda was dead in yours, and I certainly don't remember you playing with yourself, I guess.
Yeah, whatever that was.
Yeah, drilling yourself is just like, please, no, no. She's like, we're going to pretend this didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then she does the teenage girl thing.
I was going to say, the show pretends it didn't happen because it literally just cuts to, like, from that line, cuts to the next thing. Like, okay, could have had a moment here.
A hard cut here. She's calling Harvey, and she's woken him up in the middle of the night. And she basically just says, "You wouldn't ever hurt me." right? And he's like, no, what's wrong? And she basically dismisses him again.
Oh, I had a nightmare. Don't worry about it. I'll see you at school, right?
Yeah, I'll see you at school, right? And this scene is literally, I think, in here so that she can remember that she spoke to Miss Wardwell in her dream, and Miss Wardwell helped her get out of her dream and helped her to save the day.
Mm-hmm.
That was the entire point of this. But again, poor Harvey, man. Like, poor
Yeah.
dude. I really hope he has, like, the best finale. I hope he has everything. I hope he has I hope he has someone who understands and encourages him and doesn't treat him like a piece of furniture.
That'd be
Or an
nice.
accessory.
But yeah, because Harvey's just like, yeah, we have civics tomorrow with the Miss Wardwell, and Sabrina's like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, Wardwell. And the last shot of the thing is her on Wardwell's doorstep, being like, you need to tell me what you are, because you're not a human. And that's the end of the episode.
Yeah. She's like, better come in. And that's it. Basically, if they had cut out the last episode and up to this point, we would have saved ourselves like an hour and a half.
Honestly, yeah. But whatever. So, Valanda, you know what I'm gonna ask, right?
I do.
How would you rate this episode?
I'm gonna rate it. I don't know, because it was a wasted episode, but as a standalone episode, it was a nice one. One that I could like shown to someone who's not seen the series before, and they'd be like, "Oh, that's kind of interesting." They wouldn't get half of it, but it'd be kind of vaguely interesting.
Yeah.
I was upset with how little they did with Hilda. That made me really unhappy. The spider effects were terrible. It was awful, and I'm not saying it just because I hate spiders. The effects were genuinely terrible. The ultimate creature, the demon, was awful. And as you said at the beginning, this episode didn't do anything. I liked it. Do not get me wrong, I liked it, but it's only going to get 2 brooms. There was so much wrong with this, because they could have done so much better with it, and that's what made me sad. It does, however, get the 2 because I loved Zelda's Dream and I loved Ambrose because I love Ambrose. What about you, Drew?
All the things I'm gonna ding it for, I'm gonna give it a 3 because I did enjoy it, but it's like a wasted episode. It doesn't belong here. Put it somewhere else. Like, in fact, first episode. Let a demon attack the family in the first episode.
Yeah, like, I'll tell you what, let's do all these Monster of the Weeks. So basically like they did with like any other good like show they put on like whatever it is, like Buffy and Angel. Make all the beginning episodes, the very first few series, standalone one-shot episodes with like maybe a little thing tying them together. A little tidbit here and there. Don't stick as one-shot episodes in the middle of the series.
No, it was super weird. I did enjoy it, but yeah, the demon was not good. The oh my god, the spider effects were terrible. Honestly, when it was like, oh, a dream catcher, I was expecting her to go get a dream catcher made from spider's webs and then just be like, boop, hit her in the head with it or something. Like, honestly, having her run through a big dream catcher or a big spider web that was meant to be a dream catcher would have been better than what they showed.
Yeah, what they showed was she stood perfectly still in the archway of this door while the spiders wrapped her.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Have you ever been accidentally walked into a spider web? How fast you go?
You're like, no. Like,
I'm fucking out.
Like, this episode, for everything that happened in it, was literally just so Sabrina could be like, oh, Wardwell's not immortal. Like, there are other ways to show that. This was an hour in the middle of a series that I could have saved, honestly.
Yeah.
That
this
being said,
episode,
I enjoyed the episode.
up and thrown back.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it is only episode 5. I mean, how much further back can they throw this episode?
Well, that's the thing.
Being that, like, episode 1 and episode 2 were like, here's the series. Episode 3 and 4 were set up. This was nothing.
Here's the thing, though. Yeah, and that's the thing. There was nothing to this episode. It was literally just so Sabrina could be like, Wardwell's not a person. She is a witch. That's it. It's an hour for that.
They did a good job building Zelda's character. They did an interesting job with Ambrose and was generally the relief as he's supposed to be. Hilda was treated like a joke, and I really disliked that.
Yeah,
and Sabrina, like, very small story in this. I didn't think was very interesting.
Yeah,
Okay, I love the wedding. It looked cool, but that was about it.
agreed. So yeah, 3. Like honestly, 3. It's not a terrible episode, but if I was like, hey, go watch Sabrina, I'd be like, skip episode 5. Like watch it if you want, and it's kind of enjoyable. But if you're just binging, it really takes away. Like, because if you're binging, you're watching the first 4 episodes. You're like, oh, cool, they're building up this big story, and then the 5th episode's just like sharp right hand turn into nothing. And you're like,
Yeah.
where
Because
am
if I
I?
remember rightly, at this point it begins to veer back on track.
Yeah, as when she goes and confronts Wardwell, we're right back on track again.
Yeah, like that's like, oh, here we go.
See,
There we go.
even Undead says it, because Undead says it's why they stopped binging.
Boy,
It's such a weird deviation from the rest of the show. It doesn't fit.
yeah. I mean, to be fair, even episode 4 didn't fit
Okay,
properly.
fair. I mean, this is a good episode in the way of it's enjoyable. It's a good character episode because they like build the characters, but it doesn't fit with 4. It's so far away from the rest of the show that it's just like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Like, I know we both watched more than this episode, and I know it gets better. It sticks with a better storyline from here on out. But this episode, yeah, boy, yeah, this one, I say I could pick this up and show it to someone else, and they'd be interested in like the premise and the idea. I'm like, oh, it's another show that's done a dream walking thing, yada yada yada. It's a good episode for that, but it's not good in the series.
No.
Which is why I'm slating it so hard.
Agreed. But that being said, we're in the middle of the series, or the middle of the season. Valanda, how would you rate the series overall so far?
So honestly, when I also got to this, actually, when I got to the end of episode 4, I debated whether I was going to hit play again, play on, but I did, and I watched this episode, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess it's still on. And then it got better, and I got drawn into it again, so that's fine. I don't know, like, I like the series. These last ones have been bad. So I'm gonna go with 3 because I did recommend it. I was like, Drew, we should probably watch this because this is interesting. And it's not the trash fire that our first series was, and it's not as good as the other series that we watched. So yeah, I think 3 for me. I think that's it's a good solid one. Like, it gets better, it has been better, and it will get better, and there are some interesting concepts in here, and I really like them. Yeah, I'm gonna go with 3. Drew?
I am gonna give it a 2.5 broomsticks. I am enjoying it. I will admit I binge watched the whole series except for the Christmas episode. But if I'm just basing it on the first half of the series, it ain't that good. Episode 4 and 5 are a little weird. The VFX are super cheesy at times.
Getting worse.
Yeah, the story starts off relatively dark and gritty and realistic. It's just like, oh, this girl who has to choose between witches and mortals, and witches are super weird, and mortals are just, everyone else. And then it just, like, turns into... It almost goes into the same goofy level as, like, The Adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Yeah.
Like...
Yeah.
You guys...
I can understand if they're trying to, like, recapture that vibe, but that's not what they're doing.
No. But again, I would recommend this to somebody, but I would also recommend it and still be like, couple of things, though.
Yeah, it's like, if you've got nothing much else to do and you're busy doing something else, stick it on. Stick it on and give it a good background watch. You'll get drawn into it eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't sit down. Like, we've sat down and watched this. I probably wouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
But yeah, I recommend it. 2.5, not terrible. A couple of times I also was just like, I hope it gets better. 5 was a low point of, I remember binging and being like, that was fun. Now are we gonna get to the actual story?
Yeah. If I remember, this is the low point. This made me question my sanity check of why did I hit yes at the end of episode 4. But I remember it getting better. It drew me back in, so something must be working later on.
Definitely.
All right, I guess that's it for us then.
Yeah. I think we hit everything. I think. So You want to do the bits at the end?
Sure. Can you do the exclamation marks? My keyboard's on the floor.
Sure. I have to remember them, but
Exclamation podcasts.
nope, it's podcasts, so I just can't type. Boop.
Uh-huh.
There it is.
And exclamation Twitter.
Awesome. Yay, I did it.
All right, you win. You can find me on Twitter at volley_lunder, where you can find my links to most of the stupid dumb shit I do, which includes, and it's not stupid or dumb, it's freaking awesome. Lucky Die comes out tomorrow. Maybe one of my... I'm quite proud of this episode. Shit happens. I'm very proud. We found out the adventures in their new RC. It's just the dumbest thing ever, and it's amazing. Yeah, so that's out tomorrow. Episode of The White Vault came out on feed last week. So if you Patreon, 2.9 comes out this week. Also, Kino for TRD comes out on the 31st. And I'm super excited for everyone to hear that because it's so good. And yeah, I think Dark Dice comes out beginning of next month in February. So also, if anyone is going to PodCon UK, I am going to be there. So yeah, there we go. That's me. What about you, Drew?
You can find me on Twitter at NotThatDrew. You can also find me in Taking Initiative, where I am currently playing Krusk, the half-orc ranger. Well, who knows what'll happen to him? You can find me all over the place. I'm doing various things. I got stuff coming up. Nothing coming up soon, though. And I'm just gonna say it because I'm still really happy about it. I'm professional DM forever now. Sorry, everybody, I got paid for it.
So proud of you.
I'm so happy. Like, honestly, it was like, it's really stupid, but it's like, I was like, yes, I got paid to do this.
Everybody said it couldn't be done, but I did it.
Oh, yeah, but I got stuff coming. Follow me on Twitter. That's where you'll probably find more of it. Yeah. That's me, everybody.
Oh, I guess that's us then.
Yeah. Thank you all for coming out. We'll see you again next week for episode 6.
Yes.
Things will probably pick up.
We hope. Otherwise, I made a real bad decision.
We'll see everyone next week. Bye, everybody.